In this video, we're going to learn how to parse out and grab the nth value of any given string. One application of this might be a social media post where you're given the body, but you only want to show the first 7 words of the article to tease people to click on it, or maybe someone's name is only ever in the 5th position and you only want to grab their name. Granted, there might be better ways of parsing this information out, but for our example, we are just trying to grab the, let's say, 6th or 7th value of any given string. How do we go about doing that? Well, let's take a look. Right now we have just a random trigger just so that I can test out any freaking action underneath because Zapier limits that, and let's get into it. All right, we want to start off with a format step. It's going to be a text-based step, and we want to transform this, and we want to split it. We want to split the text. Now, the input data, right, effectively, in this case, we have terrible input data. It's just time-based variables. That's okay. We will provide 10 different values here, aptly named, I would say, and the separator. So we'll do a couple different versions just to test this out. But the separator here, in order to separate these values into individual strings, is just a space. And because Zapier is kind of cool in this respect, we don't need to provide a value here. It will default as space. So if we want to split up values based on a space, we don't need to touch this. The segment index. Now, what do we want to pick here? So let's take a look at these options and just step back for a second. So the first value, by the way, this is what the humans read as first, and underneath in this grayed out 0, this is what the computer reads as which value to choose. So when we think of the first value, it's actually 0 position, right? Second value is first position, last value, -1, etc. So there are a couple of ways we can go about doing this. One, we can click the last option here, and it will separate all these values out individually, and then we can choose from that list the 7th value. Or if we just want the 7th value, what we can do is click on custom, right? So you see how this first is 0 position, second is 1. So what we need to do is, instead of providing the 7th value, because that'll actually return 8, right? If this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we want the 7th value, let's provide the number 6 here and see what this does. Retest, and there we go. We have 7. Awesome. If we wanted to grab all those values and maybe reorder them or select from a list, we can just click through this and see what this looks like. All the separate fields, and click continue, retest and review. And there we go. We have each of these as individual outputs, which means if we add any other step here, and actually we can see all these values and effectively pick the 7th value. Or maybe we only want the 7th, 8th, and 9th. If we have another list of instead of spaces, it's commas, we can also do this as well. And the delimiter, or the separator effectively, would be a comma. It'll still all work for this purpose. Awesome.